It's over. The case that heaven opened against your life has been closed, and the verdict came down in your favor before you even knew there was a trial happening. I'm not going to ask you to wait for the sentence. I'm here to tell you it's already been signed. The case has been reviewed, every piece of evidence weighed, every silent injustice that nobody defended has been documented. And the gavel has already dropped. You spent years thinking nobody saw, that everything they did to you went unpunished, that the silence from above was proof you were alone. I'm telling you now, the silence wasn't absence. It was a courtroom working in the dark, and before this message ends, you're going to learn to read the 3 signs that the sentence has already started to play out here on earth, in your life, inside your week. Stick around until the end, because what I'm going to give you at the end isn't theory. It's the protocol for you to release your case and let the verdict run its course. But first, I need you to recognize yourself in what I'm about to describe. There's a meeting you've never forgotten. The one where you started to speak, and right in the middle of your sentence, someone cut you off. And you looked around, hoping that just one person would say, "Let him finish." And nobody did. You swallowed the rest of your sentence and smiled like it didn't hurt. But it hurt. And it kept hurting long after the meeting ended. It wasn't the interruption that wounded you. It was the silence of everyone else. It was finding out, in that split second, that you were alone in a room full of people. There's also that promotion. You watched the slot go to the guy who showed up late, who did half of what you did, who was all optics and no output, and you who stayed late, who covered for everyone else's mistakes, who carried the weight without complaining, watched your work vanish like it had never existed. Like effort was invisible, and only appearances counted. And then there's the comment. That one phrase said under someone's breath, almost in passing, that the person probably doesn't even remember saying. But you remember, because it stuck. It came back at night, came back in the shower, came back when you least expected it, for weeks. A small sentence that sat like a stone in your chest. You seek, you dedicate yourself, you do everything right, and yet abundance never comes. And the worst part? You start wondering if you're doing something wrong, if you're being heard up above, if it's meant for you at all. It's not a lack of faith or worthiness. It's a spiritual blockage that ordinary prayer alone cannot break. The Miracle Journal unblocks this in 21 days with a spiritual protocol that works exactly where your prayer doesn't reach. Along with the journal, you'll also receive as a gift the prayer guide and the Psalms manual, with the most powerful sacred practices and texts to deepen your transformation. To claim your version of the journal, tap the link in the comments right below this video. A sentence that sat like a stone in your chest, and at night, you took inventory. Lying there with your eyes open, you listed everything you did right. Every time you were honest when lying was easier. Every time you kept quiet to avoid hurting someone. Every ounce of care that nobody noticed. And even with the whole list, the math didn't add up. Because you did everything right, and still you got no recognition. I'm not going to tell you that you were weak for feeling this. It wasn't weakness. It was the wound of someone who trusted. Someone who never trusted never gets hurt. You got hurt precisely because you gave something real to people who didn't know what to do with it. And the worst part wasn't what they did. The worst part was the feeling that nobody, not even heaven, had your back. That you cried out for justice in an empty room. If you're feeling something right now, let it be registered. The like here isn't just a button. The like is your public amen. Heaven records what you confess openly. When you hit that button on this video, you're saying, "I'm also waiting for justice." And that gets noted where it matters. Now listen, because I'm going to make you 3 promises, and none of them are empty. The first, your silence was not weakness. Every time you stayed quiet instead of fighting back, you weren't losing. You were filing evidence. Everything you didn't say was kept as testimony in your favor in heaven's court. The silence that looked like defeat was documentation being sealed. The second, before this message is over, you're going to receive 3 concrete steps to release the case from your hands. To stop being the prosecutor who carries the case day and night and go back to being just the witness who rests because they know the judge doesn't sleep. And the third, when this video ends, you're going to be able to say out loud a sentence that doesn't fit in your mouth today. You're going to be able to say, "My case has already been judged and I won. I set you before this word because it's for you, not for the crowd. For you. I saw every injustice that nobody else saw. I was in the room when they cut you off. I registered everything. And what I register, no man can erase. Now I need your full attention. If you can, look away from the screen for a moment. You don't have to close your eyes. Just stop looking for distractions because what's coming now are the signs, and signs slip past those who are divided. There are 3 main signs, and a 4th one that's the hardest to accept. They show that the sentence has already left the paperwork and started moving on the earth. The first sign is coincidences starting to favor you without you lifting a finger. Doors opening where you had already given up knocking. A phone call arriving at the exact right moment. A name showing up to help you without you having asked. You called it luck, chance. Finally, something went right. But it's not chance. It's the environment being rearranged around a verdict that's already been signed. When heaven decides, the earth starts to obey, and it obeys first in the small details you barely notice. The second sign is unexpected news reaching you about those who hurt you, without you seeking it out, without you gossiping. The information just arrives. And here I need to be very clear. It doesn't arrive for you to get revenge. It arrives for you to see with your own eyes that justice never sleeps, that you didn't need to lift a finger. You called it irony of fate. It's more than that. It's proof that there's an accounting that runs without your signature. The third sign is people who ignored you coming back around, for no apparent reason. A name that disappeared from your life reappears. Someone who treated you like invisible suddenly wants your attention. You think it's social coincidence? It's not. It's the entire environment reorganizing around someone heaven decided to honor. People feel the shift before they understand why. They move toward whoever has been vindicated, even without knowing a verdict happened. And now, the 4th sign, the hardest one to hear. The one the enemy spent the most time trying to make you ignore. It's a quietness inside, a strange calm that arrives in the middle of the pain. And the enemy is going to rush in to tell you it's resignation, that you're giving up, that you're settling, that you stopped fighting because you're tired. He wants you to confuse peace with defeat. But listen carefully. That quietness is not resignation. It's certainty. It's the peace of someone who, deep down, already knows the case was won, even if the news hasn't arrived in writing yet. It's the heart resting because the judge has already spoken. It's not you giving up on the fight. It's you discovering that the fight wasn't yours to fight. If this word reached you, type "free" in the comments. Just that word. Free. Because that's what's happening to you right now, even if your mind is still trying to figure it out. Now close your eyes for a second. Take a deep breath. What I'm about to tell you won't work if your attention is split 3 ways. Just here. Just now. I want to tell you 2 stories. One very old and one that is happening under your feet at this very moment. There was a man named David. Before any throne, he was just a shepherd, faithful, who played music to calm a tormented king. He served that king. He fought that king's battles. He risked his own life for the kingdom, and the payment he received was a spear thrown at his chest. King Saul, driven by jealousy, began to hunt him. Saul hunted David through caves, through deserts, for years. David, who had done nothing wrong, became a fugitive in his own land, accused without guilt, persecuted by the one who should have protected him. And there was a day when the king who hunted him entered, alone and unprotected, right into the cave where David was hiding. David had his aggressor in his hands. His companions whispered, "This is the day. Take justice into your own hands." But David didn't raise a weapon. He only cut a piece off the king's robe and said, "It's not my place to take down someone heaven will judge." David refused to be his own prosecutor. He handed the case over to the only court that never makes a mistake. And the verdict came, not by David's hand. Saul fell, and David was seated on the throne, vindicated, not because he fought back, but because he trusted that the case wasn't his to resolve. Heaven brought down the one who hunted him, and heaven lifted up the one who was hunted. That's the pattern. Whoever doesn't take justice into their own hands discovers that justice was already reserved for them. Now the second story, and this one, is yours. Think of a seed that fell under the pavement, under a heavy slab of concrete, without light, without space, forgotten. From the outside, nothing happens. From the outside, the rock is the absolute master of that place. But underneath, in the dark, the root never stopped. Slowly, without noise, without an audience, the root kept growing. And one day, the concrete that seemed eternal cracks. Not from a sledgehammer, not from an explosion, from a silent life that grew underneath until the rock couldn't hold it anymore. Do you see the connection? Like David, and like that seed under the stone, your verdict is fulfilled underneath first, in silence, in the root, before it shows up on the surface. When the world finally sees justice happening, it's because it had been happening for a long time where nobody was looking. If you were also hunted by someone who should have protected you, type David in the comments. Because you need to hear this. The cave was not your end. It was the place where your vindication was being prepared. Let me stop for a full minute. I want to put the pieces together so you don't leave here with loose feelings, but with something solid in your hand. Fact 1. You carried injustices that were never repaired publicly. You took hits in silence, and nobody apologized. Fact 2. You confused heaven's silence with heaven's absence. You thought that because nobody defended you in the moment, nobody was on your side. But the court was in session the whole time. Fact 3. The signs I just described show that the environment is already moving in your favor right now. Not in the distant future. Now. And here is who you are inside all of this. Because before I show you the verdict in full, I need to show you the name you have in the eyes of the one who judged the case. What you're about to hear is not a human title. It's not a compliment to cheer you up. It's what I call you when I speak of your case in heaven. I saw everything. And now I'm going to tell you who you became in the middle of the injustice. The first identity. You are the vindicated victim. I saw every time you were accused and didn't fight back. Every time they had the wrong version of the story, and you could have screamed the truth, but chose not to lower your soul to the level of the one who hurt you. I saw you swallow what was unjust and keep standing. What this identity authorizes is simple and freeing. You can stop trying to prove your innocence to those who have already convicted you. The person who decided to see you as guilty isn't going to change with one more argument from you. But the judge who matters has already declared you innocent. You don't defend a verdict that has already been signed. The second identity. You are the witness heaven defends. I saw you keep the truth when lying was easier and more profitable. I saw you choose integrity in a moment when nobody would have known if you abandoned it. You were faithful in the dark. What this identity authorizes is a rest you didn't know existed. You can start trusting that your defense doesn't depend on your voice. The witness doesn't need to run around looking for a lawyer when the judge himself has taken the case. You can lower your guard. Not because you gave up, but because someone greater took over your defense. The third identity. You are the heir of the verdict. I saw you stay whole even with no reward in sight. You did the right thing without a guarantee of a prize. You kept your word without a witness. You were fair in a world that didn't pay you for it. What this identity authorizes changes everything. You can start living like someone who has already won the case, not like someone still begging for it. The heir doesn't beg for what's already in the will. He lives with the posture of someone who knows what's coming. You stop asking for crumbs of recognition because you own a full sentence. Type in the comments the name of the identity that hit you the hardest. Vindicated victim. Witness heaven defends. Heir of the verdict. Write the one that went deepest. And if you're not subscribed to this channel yet, subscribe now, because the next word that's coming to you depends on you being nearby when it's released. From accused to acquitted, from hunted to crowned, from exhausted prosecutor to heir at peace, from someone begging for recognition to someone resting in the sentence. That's what's being done in you right now. Now I'm going to deliver what I promised at the beginning. The protocol. I call it the case filing. Because a case that already has a verdict doesn't need to stay open on your desk every day. There are 3 steps, and I ask you to take them seriously. Step 1. Get a piece of paper. Write on it the name of the injustice and the name of the person. No beating around the bush, no softening it. Then say out loud, "This now belongs to heaven's court." Writing takes the thing out of your chest and puts it in a place where you can hand it over. As long as it's only in your head, you're the sole guardian of the case. On paper, it becomes deliverable. Step 2. Open your hands. Literally, palms up. And hand over the case. From now on, you are the witness, not the prosecutor. The prosecutor takes the case home, loses sleep, rehearses the argument. The witness speaks the truth once and rests, because they know the rest isn't their job. Let it go. You didn't abandon justice. You put it in the right hands. Step 3. Every time a thought of revenge comes, and it will come, you replace it with a sentence of trust in the verdict. Instead of, "I wish he would pay," you say, "The sentence has already been handed down, and it is just." You don't suppress the anger by pretending it doesn't exist. You replace it with a greater truth, thought by thought, until peace becomes your natural reflex. And the sign that the protocol worked is not euphoria. A wave of explosive joy isn't going to come. The sign is quietness. A strange calm from someone who dropped a weight they had been carrying for so long they had forgotten their own arm was hurting. If peace comes, not a party, then it worked. If you are receiving this protocol, type "received" in the comments. That word marks that you not only heard it, you accepted it. Now I need to warn you about something, because what I'm about to say is going to happen. In the next 72 hours, 3 things will be thrown against you. Not as a possibility, as a certainty. The enemy doesn't attack someone who is standing still. He attacks someone who just received a verdict, and you just received one. The first tactic is justified anger. It doesn't arrive shouting. It arrives with a soft voice saying, "You have every right to feel this." And it's true, you do have the right. But the trap is right there. Because while you hold on to anger, even justified anger, you stay chained to the person who hurt you. Hatred is a chain that binds both people. Letting go isn't saying what they did was right. Letting go is stopping giving that person the power to live inside you rent-free. The second tactic is the mental replay. It disguises itself as maturity. It says, "I'm just processing, I'm reflecting." But you're not processing. You're reliving the scene 100 times a day, and every time you relive it, you bleed again from the same wound. The past doesn't ask to be relived to be healed. It asks to be handed over. Reliving isn't processing. It's hurting yourself on a loop. The third tactic is the wait for an apology. This is the sneakiest one. It arrives as, "You deserve recognition. You deserve for them to admit it. And you do deserve it. Truly." But the trap is that it makes your freedom hostage to an apology that may never come. You get stuck in the waiting room of a forgiveness that the other person may never have the courage to give. And while you wait, your life is on pause. Your verdict doesn't depend on the repentance of the person who hurt you. It was already signed without their signature. And there's still the internal enemy. Your own voice, disguised as logic. It will whisper, if heaven judged you innocent, why does it still hurt? And it will use the pain that still exists as proof that the verdict isn't real. But listen, the pain of a wound doesn't cancel the court sentence. The scar doesn't undo the victory. Hurting and having won can coexist. The pain is leaving, not arriving. Don't confuse the sound of healing with the sound of defeat. If you understood this, type "protected" in the comments. The decree has been sealed over the next 72 hours. You've been warned, and those who are warned don't fall into the same trap. Now we've reached the most important moment. I want you to do something physical with me. Put one hand on your chest. Feel your own heart beating. Plant both feet firmly on the ground and breathe deeply, slowly. Now, with your hand on your chest, I want you to hand over 3 weights. Don't hold on to them anymore. Hand over the weight of proving your innocence to someone who will never acknowledge it. You don't need to convince anyone anymore. The verdict is not open to appeal. Hand over the desire to see the punishment with your own eyes. You don't need to be present at anyone's downfall for justice to be done. Trust that what needs to be adjusted will be adjusted, with or without your audience. Hand over the guilt of having stayed silent when you should have been defended. The silence wasn't your cowardice. There was no one there to defend you, and that was never your fault. Drop that guilt. It was never yours to carry. And now listen, because it's me speaking directly to you. I saw the meeting. I was in the room the day they cut you off and nobody defended you. I saw you swallow the rest of your sentence and smile on the outside while you broke on the inside. You thought nobody had seen. I saw. Every second of it is registered, and nothing registered with me is lost. I saw the promotion that went to the one who deserved it least. I saw you stay late, cover for everyone else's mistakes, carry the weight without complaining, and watch all of it be ignored. I did not forget a single hour of your effort. What man didn't pay for? I did not leave unregistered. I saw the nights of inventory. I saw you list everything you did right and still not make the numbers add up. I closed the account for you. In my court, it is already closed, and the balance is in your favor. I cover your mind so the replay stops and peace begins. I cover your relationships so that whoever needs to come back comes back, and whoever needs to leave, leaves. I cover your time because nothing that came to you came late, and nothing that is coming will arrive out of season. And I cover your case from start to finish because it stopped being yours the moment you handed it over. You no longer go alone. I send you from here standing, vindicated with the sentence in your hand. What is yours has already been sealed by heaven, and what heaven seals, no man can revoke. Now say it out loud, wherever you are, without shame. My case has already been judged, and the verdict is in my favor. Say it again, stronger. My case has already been judged, and the verdict is in my favor. Did you feel that? Something shifted. Something that was stuck came loose. If you made it this far, type "done" in the comments. Because it is done. What was delivered here has been delivered, and it does not go back. And think of one person, one specific person who was also wronged in silence, who is also waiting for a justice that seems like it will never come. Send this video to them, not to a group, to them, by name. Because maybe right at this very moment, they are doing that same nightly inventory, thinking nobody saw. They need to hear that the verdict came out for them too. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to live from a verdict already won without returning to sit in the defendant's seat. Stay close, because that is the natural continuation of what began here. It is done. You are not the same person you were when this message began. You came in here like someone still begging for justice. You leave here like someone who already has the sentence in hand. The case is closed. The verdict has come down, and it is, from start to finish, in your favor. You seek, you dedicate yourself, You do everything right, and yet abundance never comes. And the worst part? You start wondering if you're doing something wrong, if you're being heard up above, if it's meant for you at all. It's not a lack of faith or worthiness. It's a spiritual blockage that ordinary prayer alone cannot break. The Miracle Journal unblocks this in 21 days with a spiritual protocol that works exactly where your prayer doesn't reach. Along with the journal, you'll also receive as a gift the prayer guide and the Psalms manual, with the most powerful sacred practices and texts to deepen your transformation. To claim your version of the journal, tap the link in the comments right below this video.